In 1991, when Intuit was founded, many Chicagoans had no idea about outsider art and what that even was. And here 30 years later, because of this wonderful museum, that is changing, not just in Chicago, but around the world.
Oh, it's pretty amazing, actually. We could never imagine that, that humble beginning where we were borrowing galleries. We had no location, but we would take empty gallery spaces or donated spaces for our exhibits, 1 or 2 a year before we got our permanent location. But I don't think any of us imagined that, we would have this major national organization 30 years later.
I think Intuit and its mission is constantly evolving, and I think the impact over the years is going to continue to change. I've certainly seen it change in the 15 years I've been on the board. It's much more, we talk about work done outside the mainstream, but it feels a lot more mainstream to me now. It's much more present in the general art community, and I think Intuit will just continue to advance that make progress with that, educating, teaching, exposing people to things they might not see in a traditional museum or gallery.
Well, I mean, from nothing to kind of being a cultural force in this realm, and now to these recent expansions in these past few years, there's no question that, the proof is in the pudding. It's like, it's there. Things are happening.
We are launching a major capital campaign to renovate this building, to bring it up to museum standards so that the art we show will be just as cared for as the art at any major museum, and hope to expand our audience by having more opportunity and spaces to show the work and advocate for these artists. And the future looks bright.
Intuit has been so creative this last year with the pandemic by making all of their programming virtual.
The access to virtual programming has kept me sane. It's kept me creative. It's kept myself, my family, friends that I invite and share the information with. Just what a tremendous way to stay in touch and continue to support. How tremendous, and I've also really enjoyed learning from the different educators and facilitators that have been part of this.
If that isn't the purest form of art, is create where there existed nothing before and make yourself vocal, I don't know what is.
I mean, this country, and I guess the world as well, some of the art comes from outside the country, but this country is such a cacophony, and there's so many locales and cultures that are brewing all over the place that we can't even imagine. So I feel like this art, you can't say it's about one thing, but in a lot of ways it's really, if I could summarize, it's about the center and the periphery.
Yeah, I think that when you think about donating to Intuit, you should think about the people that it will touch. I think like a lot of times in art, it's such a place of privilege. And then when we think about outsider artists and the outsider art community, it just like isn't, sadly. And I think that when you donate to Intuit, you're donating to a cause or a movement.
Well, I mean, again, after this pandemic, I'm sort of, as I'm talking to you, and viewers can't see all the art around me necessarily right now, but I'm a little overwhelmed at all the art that's going on, and it's just great to see and to be reminded of the delightfulness of this. I mean, the tangibility and the physical kind of like, as a sculptor, I respond to that tactile nature of things, and it's so present.
In many ways, Intuit is really in a great position right now today to have a much bigger impact in the future going forward. So Intuit has got a bright future in so many ways, building on the legacy of the work that's been done over the last 30 years.